Today, we'll discuss income tax liability of a resident individual, right? Let's say Mr. Pereira, right? Mr. Pereira is a resident individual, right? I will put RI, resident individual, Vasika Puddale, right? The calculation of income tax liability for the year of assessment 23-24, right? This is income tax liability. ආදායම් බදු බැඳියාව year of assessment 23-24. ඊයකට තමයි ගන්නෙ. So with the all the amendment applicable up to now, right? Up to now, as at the date 29 October 2023, right? So we'll discuss very basic computation. I will not go in deep how employment income comprise, how to calculate assessable income from employment. Those things I will not discuss. Here the very basic concept, very basic calculation, then it will help you to understand very well how the basic computation look like, right? මෙතන ලොකු detail කතා කරන්න නැහැ, basic computation එකක් තමයි කතා කරන්නේ. කොහොමද වාර්ෂික පුද්ගලයෙක් income tax liability එක හදන්නේ for the year of assessment 23-24, right? This will be useful for your professional exam or university exams, right? As well. So let's say first source, because as a resident individual, you might have different sources. So if you have salary, we call it as employment income, EI, employment income. So here, can we take employment income as it is? No. We have to do some certain adjustment, cash benefit, as well as we need to consider non-cash benefit. Cash benefit in the sense salary, wages, allowance, bonus, right? Non-cash benefit non-cash benefit in the sense housing benefit, vehicle benefit, and non-cash කියන්නේ සල්ලි වලින් දෙන්නේ නැති දේවල්. ඒකට office එකකින් apartment එකක් දෙන්න, office එකකින් car එකක් දෙන්න. Those things also we need to consider for tax purpose. After taking all these things, we call it as assessable income from employment, AIE, right? Here, let's say assessable income from employment. Here, let's say for this year, 6 million, right? This year, 6 million. Assessable income from employment, we have 6 million. So here, if you're doing a business, because as a, let's say, lawyer, they might have private practice. As a doctor, they might have private practice. Most of doctors, they will work for government in the daytime. In the night time, after evening, after 5, they will go for their own private practice in the village or some areas, right? So as a accountant or any other profession or lecturers, teachers, they might have private tuition as well. So then we call those things as business income. ඒකට කියනවා ව්‍යාපාර ආදායම්. පොඩි ව්‍යාපාරයක් කරලා එන ආදායම්. ඒකට අපිට accounting profit එක අපි එහෙම පිටින්ම ගන්න නැහැ tax වලට. After taking accounting profit, we have to do some adjustment. We call plus minus, right? Plus minus. Allowable expenses, we have to deduct allowable expenses, right? And we have to disallow disallowable expenses. Allowable and disallowable expenses are there. We have to adjust. Because allowable expenses means we can deduct some expenses, as well as disallowable expenses, donation, entertainment, any other expenses incurred, not incurred for the production, right? Business එකේ ව්‍යාපාර ලාභ උපයන්න දරපු නැති වියදම් තියෙනවා, such as donation, පරිත්‍යාග, or entertainment. Those are not connected with the business directly, right? So those things we have discussed. There are many adjustments I am not going to discuss here today, right? So let's say 4 million. After adjusting this, right? After adjusting, we call it as, this is assessable income from business, AIB, right? Assessable income from business. Here, assessable income from employment. Here, assessable income from business. If you have any investment income, if you have extra money, you will go ahead with FDs, right? If you have FDs, you need to you will get gross interest. Gross interest, right? You will get gross interest. Let's say gross interest is 2 million. Then here definitely as per the latest law amendments, right? So bank will deduct 5% as advance income tax. You can take this as a tax credit. We'll take at the end, right? So then therefore I will put a color on this because we have to consider again at the end. Yeah, we'll take the color over here, right? Because I am putting that mark because we need to consider it again at the end, right? If you have, let's say, if you have any property, right? If you have any property, you will get rent income. We get gross rent over here, rent income, gross rent income, right? Here, let's say 2 point, so let's say 4 million, 4 million for full year, right? You are getting, let's say, you are getting 300,000 per month as rent income. Then for annual income would be 3.6 million. Here also you need to remember there is a 10% advance income tax, 10% as advance income tax. If you are getting monthly rent income more than 100,000 per month, right? Then definitely tenant will deduct 10%, right? They will deduct 10%. Then you need to remember this one because there are two adjustments. One is you can deduct 25% as a relief, rent relief under relief, right? Then again, you can deduct 10%, 10% as tax credit at the end, right? Here, relief also there, rent relief, rent relief. You need to remember that one as well. Rent relief is 25%, right? And then if you have further extra money, you will go ahead with treasury bill, treasury bond as well, right? You will go ahead with treasury bill and treasury bond as well, right? Therefore, if you have that, which is also, you will get cost interest, right? Then here, let's say 1 million, 1.2 million. If you have further extra money, you will go ahead with investment in shares. If you invest in shares, you will get dividend, right? You will get dividend. Here, you will not consider dividend here, right? You will not consider dividend over here because it already deducted withholding tax at the rate of 15%, right? 15% as withholding tax. Then it is we consider as final. No need to tax it again. ආපහු tax වෙන්නේ dividend. Already tax වෙනවා 15ට ඒක අනිවාර්යෙන් deduct කරන්න ඕන dividend distribute කරන company එක ආපහු tax වෙන්නේ නැහැ. එතකොට ඒකට tax ගෙවන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. But you have to declare, right? Then you have to show your knowledge. It is not taxable, right? Then what else? If you have any sale of any investment property, ප්‍රාර්ථනවත්කම් විකිනීම, ආයෝජනවත්කම් විකිනීමෙන් ලැබෙන ලාභ තියෙනවා. We call it as capital gain. Capital gain. Capital gain. It is also coming under investment. Here, if you have capital gain, let's say 10 million, capital gain එකක් තියෙනවනේ, ප්‍රාර්ථන ලාභයක් තියෙනවනේ. Then here, anyway, if you have capital gain, you have to pay tax at that particular time. Asset එක විකුණන වෙලාවෙදිම 10%ක් tax ගෙවන්න ඕන, right? Individual කෙනෙක්. ඒකට ඒ වුණාට ඔයා මේක investment income යටතේ declare කරන්න ඕන, right? Here it is required to declare that capital gain even though you have already paid capital gain tax and file separate return. You have already filed, right? Submitted separate return for capital gain. But anyway, when you need to consider that particular gain for income tax computation, individual income tax computation as well, right? So here, anyway, you have to take for the calculation, tax liability calculation, you need to consider, right, as 10%, right? Because calculation is higher than 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, up to that, it goes, no, right? Anyway, this particular income you have to consider 10%. This particular 1 million. Capital gain එක විතරක් 10%කට tax කරන්න. And again, then the tax credit. Under tax credit, you have to take that particular tax credit. Tax credit also you need to take, right? 10%. Because already paid tax එක ගෙවලා තියෙනවා. Right? Then, if you have winning from lottery, right? Winning from lottery, right? Lottery තියෙනවා නම්, right? lottery දිනලා තියෙනවා නම් ඒකත් final වෙනවා tax වෙන්නේ. Right? Income එක if that particular winning price is more than 500,000, right? More than 500,000, 14% has deducted withholding tax. It is final, right? It is final. Then if your lottery price is more than 500,000, then definitely government will deduct withholding tax. Then again, it will not be taxed. All right. Below things are exempt, right? No need to consider. Then here we consider all possible investment activities, right? If you have any royalty, right? Royalty also we need to consider. Royalty, premium, all these things we have to consider, but I'm just taking the key things, right? So key things here. Then anything will not come under here, we call it as other income. Other income, we have to convert it to, if you have assessable income from other, we have to take that one, right? Because mostly you don't have any other income. Other income in the sense which are cannot categorize under above 3, right? Which are unable to categorize under above 3, we call it as other income, right? මේ උඩ ටිකට එන්නේ නැති ඒවට අපි කියනවා other income. මොනවා හරි තියෙනවා. Right? Usually you will not have. Here this is assessable income from investment. Here assessable income from investment in total. So other, I would say 0, right? By taking all these things, yeah, assessable income from employment, assessable income from business, assessable income from investment, assessable income from other. After that, we call it as here total assessable income. Total assessable income. Total assessable income. Only taxable කර හැකි ආදායම in single, right? Total assessable income. After that, you can deduct certain deductions. The first deduction is, I would say, reliefs. What are the basic reliefs, right? What are the relief available? First one, rent relief. Rent relief, we can take it if we have rent income, right? Rent income තියෙනවා නම් ඔයාලට ගන්න පුළුවන් rent relief එක on gross rent. 25% of gross rent. 25% of gross rent we can take as rent relief. Here also we have mentioned that, right? So rent relief we have taken, we can deduct that one from the gross rent, right? As repair and maintenance, because this 25% is giving 25% deduction is there as repair and maintenance. As repair and maintenance. Right? Repair and maintenance. So here, then next relief is what? Then the next relief is other relief. Other relief. Right? Other relief is what? Other relief in the sense solar, right? Solar. ගෙදරට solar high කරලා තියෙනවා නම් you can get solar relief as well. You can get solar relief maximum 600 per year. 600,000 per year. අවුරුද්දකට ලක්ෂ 6ක් ගන්න පුළුවන් solar relief එක. Then there's another condition. Then it should be connected to the national grid, right? It should be connected to the national grid. It should be connected to the national grid. If it is so, you can take 600 only, right? 600,000. Let's say you have installed solar 1.5 million, right? For this year, you can take only, let's say 23, 24, you can take only 600. You can take only 600. Balance, how much? 900. Then next year, right? Subsequent year, you can claim 24, 25. You can claim again another 600. Likewise, you have to maintain proper record and claim each, right? Hope you will get the same relief in the subsequent year as well. If there are any subsequent law change, right? If it is removed, right? You can't get. Otherwise, you can, right? So if change, make a claim plan back you go. Otherwise, you can continue claiming that until it becomes zero, right? Here in the subsequent year after claim, you will get 300. Then the 25, 26 will claim 300 only, right? Likewise, solar relief. Then here it is very important, it should be connected to the national grid. Then all individual will get personal, resident individuals will get personal relief. Personal relief, right? Personal relief, as per the new law, you will get 1.2 million. 1.2 million කියන්නේ 1.2 million in the sense per month 100,000. ඔයාලා tax ගෙවන්න ඕන මාසෙකට ලක්ෂයට වඩා වැඩි නම් ඒ ලක්ෂයට වඩා වැඩි මාස 12ට එතකොට 1.2 million. This is applicable for all individuals. Even in the questions says or not, you should be able to get this relief, right? Make a Q1 that make it entitled. That's why you are not paying taxes sometimes, right? Because most of you are not earning 100,000. In that case, you will not pay tax, right? You're not paying taxes, right? Then what are the other deductions? The next deduction is qualifying payment. So this will come labana giving in simple, right? So this come labana giving. I will take key qualifying payment, right? Because we have few qualifying payments applicable, but I will take only the famous things, right? Then if you donation made to approved charity, right? If you donated to approved charity in money, right? Very important. It should be in money form, right? Money. If you be in money form, සල්ලි වලින් දුන්නොත් විතරක් you can claim, right? You can claim one third of taxable income, right? 1/3 of taxable income, 75,000 for actual, right? Actual, whichever is lower. Whichever is lower. You can claim according to this, right? Then taxable income, you might be wondering, taxable income is coming after deducting these things, no? Right? Let's say after deducting these things, right? Only relief, you will get how much? You will get how much after deducting these things? This amount, 15 million. If you divide it by 3, then the how much amount? 5 million. Then the law says 75 would be the limit, basic limit. Then always you need to compare actual and 75. No need to go ahead with 1/3 of the taxable income, because anyway it could be higher than that, right? 75ට වැඩි කොහොමද? ඒක නිසා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඔයාලා 1/3 of taxable income හොයන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. ඒක නිසා so you can compare 75,000 and actual. Let's say you actual amount you donated to approved charity, right? Approved charity list එකක් තියෙනවා. In the exam sometime you will get exactly this person Pereira has donated to approved charity. Pereira donate කළා තියෙනවා approved charity එකකට කියලා directly කියලා තියෙනවා නම් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ, right? එහෙම නැත්නම් in practice, right? If you are in the real world, if someone donated to approved charity, you have to check approved charity list to make sure whether he has donated to approved charity or not, right? Here under useful information, you can see approved charity list in the Inner Revenue website, right? Here you can see all the approved charity lists altogether 84, as I can remember, yes. See? No, sorry, 86 as of now, right? 86 approved charities, which is updated recently, right? Altogether, 86 approved charities are there, right? You have to make sure that you are donating to approved charities. Then only you can claim as a donation made to approved charity in money. සල්ලි වලින් දුන්නොත් විතරයි ගන්න පුළුවන්. Very important. Again, it should be in money form, right? It should be in money form. Then let's say your actual amount is 100,000, right? Then let's say actual amount is 100,000, right? But law says you can deduct only 75,000. Then how much would be the balance? Balance amount would be 25. This amount you cannot carry forward. You cannot carry forward to subsequent year. ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දට මේ 25,000 ගෙන යන්න බෑ. ලෝ එකේ කියන තියෙන limit එක විතරයි ගන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙනම් here you will get only the 75,000. Then the minimum of these two. Right? Then here let's say actual donation is 50,000. Then you will get 50,000. No carry forward. Right? Here let's say actual donation is 100,000. Then you will deduct only 75. Right? Then the next one. Donation made to government. Donation made to government, right? Or government or any specified institution. Specified institution SI. I put SI, right? In money or otherwise, right? Money or otherwise. Otherwise කියන්නේ ඕන දෙයක්. Goods එන්න පුළුවන්. Otherwise in the sense goods, right? සල්ලි දුන්නත් government එකට අඩු කරන්න පුළුවන්. Goods දුන්නත් අඩු කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Here, let's say this person has donated to government hospital or government school, right? 500,000, right? He can deduct 500,000 entirely. No need to check whether it is as per the loan or any law. Entire amount you can deduct because law says full amount it's deductible. You cannot carry forward any amount remaining because anyway there won't be any remaining amounts because you will not donate entire assessable income, right? So therefore it will be lesser than that. So you can deduct whatever the donated amount. Money වෙන්න පුළුවන්, goods වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Hospital එකකට ඇඳන් අරන් දෙනවා, school එකට පොත් අරන් දෙනවා. Then you need to have valid receipt in order to claim this, right? You need to have valid receipt. So donation made to government and specified institution. Specified institution in the sense, what are they? Then the specified institution, government universities, government funds, right? National Seven Fund, right? And kidney fund, Api fund, right? There are some institution prescribed. Those things you can deduct. It's there, right? You can refer for additional knowledge, section 50, right? So then these are the main qualifying payment, right? Then after deducting these things, we call this is as taxable income. We call this as taxable income. Taxable income. Once you calculate a taxable income, right, we can close the lines, right? We can use double line to close. Then after that, because no any continuation of this calculation, after that we have to do what? We have to do the tax liability, calculation of income tax liability, right? Then we need to calculate income tax liability. Then how to calculate income tax liability? Then first 500,000. First 500,000, the rate is there. First 500,000, the rate is, as per the law, 6%. Right? Here, you will multiply by 6. Here you will get 30,000. Then the next would be 1 million. Why? Because you have capital gain. Capital gain I will take here. I will mention capital gain for your easiness. 1 million. Again, this one is 10%. Right? This one is 10%. Right? Then next, again 500,000. 500,000 into which percentage? 12%. Right? 12%. Then again, the same continuation with them will be continued, right? 18%, right? And again, next 24%. Then again, here 30%. Then here 36%, whatever the remaining balance. Remaining balance in the sense, from taxable income, you can deduct these things. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. After deducting 11.025 million multiplied by 36%, right? Then this is called balance in balance, which is subject to tax at the rate of 36%, right? Then tax liability, total tax liability would be, then the tax liability would be 4.5 million, right? 519 total tax liability. Total tax liability 5.9. Then what you can deduct? You can deduct tax payments. You can deduct tax payment. Here, less tax credit, tax paid in advance, right? Here you can deduct tax credit in the sense tax paid in advance, right? Here, what are the credits? Here we have mentioned already. Employment income, if you have anyway, employer will deduct advance personal income tax, previously known as pay. Then you will get the T10 certificate. T10 certificate for this APIT deduction certificate. Here, if you have salary, you can deduct APIT or T10 certificate. T10 certificate, deduction certificate. You can deduct API deduction certificate. Based on that, you can take that particular tax credit. The employer has deducted and paid that particular tax APIT. Then such amount you can claim as a tax credit. Salary එකට ගෙවපු tax එක employer ඔයාගේ salary එකෙන් deduct කරනවා ලක්ෂයට වඩා වැඩි නම් මාසෙට. එතකොට ඒ tax එක. එතකොට මාසෙක මේක ඔයාලට බලන්න පුළුවන්. If you divided by 12 anyway, it's per month 500,000, right? මාසෙට ලක්ෂ 5ක් earn කරන කෙනෙක්. එතකොට පෙරේලා කියන්නේ. එතකොට then anyway company already deducted this APIT, then you can claim that particular credit as based on the T10 certificate. As example, we'll say company has deducted APIT as example 1.5 million. අපි උදාහරණයක් විදිහට 1.5 million මේක අපි ගන්නෙ, we will take this as per the T10 certificate. APIT එහෙම නැත්නම් T10 certificate, based on T10 certificate, right? Here the next credit is, first credit we have taken based on this first source. Second source, if you have any income, right? Any business income, you will pay quarterly installment, right? Quarterly installment. Most of you are having business, you will pay quarterly installment, quarterly tax, quarterly income, quarterly installment. Right? You will pay quarterly installment. Let's say you have paid as example, right? Like ගාණ දෙන විදියට, right? Or the based on the person, right? How much they have paid. Let's say this person has paid quarterly installment 1,25,000 per quarter. Quarter equal to 250,000. Let's say 250,000 per quarter. Full year, it has paid 1 million as quarterly. This is we can payment as based on the payment slips, quarterly payment slip, or else based on the question you receive at the exam, right? They will provide in the question quarterly installment is how much, right? Then the next one, next credit is what? On investment income. If you have interest income, right? Then all the banks will deduct 5% as advance income tax, right? You will have advance income tax deduction, right? Certificate from the bank, then they will deduct 5%. So here you can take 5% on this gross interest. Here also minus, right? So this is also taken. Then if you have gross rent, definitely tenant will deduct 10% since you are getting more than 100,000 per month. ලක්ෂයට වඩා වැඩි මාසයකට එහෙනම් 10,000ක් tenant deduct කරගන්නවා. එහෙනම් you will get the separate certificate for this. You will get separate certificate for this. So this is called advance income tax deduction certificate, 10% on rent income. Here on interest income. Here you can take this one into 10%, right? This one into 10%, right? Right. We have taken rent relief here, as well as we took the tax credit, right? Then the next one is what? Gross interest on treasury bill and treasury bond. Here you will not get any tax credit because treasury bill and treasury bonds interest which are not subject to tax withholding tax or advance income tax. ඒක treasury bill interest එක with advance income tax වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් gross එක tax වෙනවා. ඒක tax rate එක 0.6 නිකන් කැල් වෙනවා ඒ income එක එතනට ඇවිල්ලා. So then there won't be any tax credit on treasury bill interest. Dividend, there won't be any tax credit because we are not taking the amount here now. Then if it is 50% deducted, it's fine. Up tax වෙන්නේ. Then capital gain, we have tax credit, 10% already paid at that particular time. Then here also we have taken that one, right? Here also we have taken that, right? And gain, we have to, here we have declared the gross, whatever the capital gain. Here we have considered for tax purpose separately, and capital gain tax already paid at that particular time. You can capital gain tax paid, you can deduct as tax credit, right? On this is already paid, right? අපි capital gain transaction එකක් වුණා නම් ඒ වුණ වෙලාවේ, right? වුණ වෙලාවේ අපි tax එක ගෙවන්න ඕනේ. Within 1 month from the transaction happen. Asset එකක් විකුණනවා නම්, investment asset එකක් විකුණනවා නම්, land එකක්, building එකක්, investment විදියට තියාගෙන ඉඳලා විකුණනවා නම් එතෙන්දී විකුණන වෙලාවදී ඔයා tax එක ගෙවන්න ඕන මාසයක් ඇතුළත. විකුණලා මාසයක් ඇතුළත tax එක ගෙවලා return එකක් මාසයක් ඇතුළත file කරන්න ඕන. එහෙම කරපු එකේ detail ටික declare කරන්න එක විතරයි මෙතන වෙන්නේ. Here you will declare the gain, right? And also you will calculate and show it separately, and you will get the credit. That's it. Then what else? Then winning from lottery, we don't have anything because we are not taking here 0. If we are taking 0 here, we will not consider any amount, right? Then 0 here, we don't get tax credit. Then we'll look at what would be the balance tax payable. How much would be the balance tax payable? Here, balance tax payable would be 1,459,000. Balance income tax payable for refunding. overpayment එකක් ආවොත් refund එක තමයි IRD එකෙන් ගන්නවා. Right? You have to submit the return and claim the refund from the Inland Revenue Department. Here it's payable. Let's say assume that you have overpaid something like from the business. Let's say here 550,000, then overpayment. Yeah, we'll increase this one 800 something per quarter. Then you have overpaid. It's refunded. Then otherwise, if there are any payable amount, you have to pay on or before 30th September 2024. If there are any balance to be paid, you have to pay this one on 30th September 2024. This is the very basic computation on individual income tax liability for the year of assessment 23-24. Right.